Yes, yes, yes. Another edition of Prime Time. The M is silent. The M is small. Because in life, the smaller things will quietly lead you to the bigger opportunities. Follow me, Derrick Hayes, on all social media platforms at Entertainment and even on Cash App. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to you from California, Ventura, California. We have a special guest tonight. She goes by the name of Coach Keya. She's a spiritual life coach. Check our website out at www.coachkeya.com and follow her on all social media platforms at Coach Keya. How you doing tonight?
I'm very delighted and very grateful to be here, Derrick. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Like you mentioned earlier, we've been in touch with each other through emails and different things for a lot of years. So sometimes even when you don't communicate or talk, but you see somebody's work, you know the value in what they do. So when you do call on them, you know it's worthwhile, and you know they're gonna bring something great to the table. So we're gonna get into this interview, and the way I interview is I always see a key word, and then I ask my questions through the key word. And so when I was doing my research on you, the word clarity came to me. So I believe that one of your purposes is to bring clarity through your work to others. And so I'm gonna ask you these questions through the word clarity, and then at the end, like I mentioned, if you have anything else to add, or if there's anything we missed out on, or if there's anything you just want to share, the floor will be yours.
Okay.
The C in the word clarity is for career. I want people to get to know a little more about you. Tell us about some of the things you have done in your career, and what do you do now?
Which career? I have had so many of them.
Just give us some insight on what you do. You can talk about now, you talk about then. The floor is yours.
Okay. So, and I can talk, so you'll have to tell me when to shut up.
Nah, it's on you,
Career is the work you do that you're passionate about. That's what career means to me. If you have a job, you have a business, you do work, and you're not passionate about that, you don't wake up and jump with joy, because today is a day when you can go out and meet people and work with them and add value to their life. And in exchange, you bring value to your life. It's not a career. It's just a job. It's a work. It's your business. It's your profession. So when I think of career, it is what brings you joy, what fills you up, brings you fulfillment, purpose, direction, etc. Okay? That's the philosophy of career for me.
I like that.
So I started off when I was 14. I started off working as a tutor. I used to teach fun subjects like physics and mathematics. I did that for 7 years while being a full-time student. And I studied physics. I did 1 year of my master's in nuclear physics and 1 year in social work, MSW, and then 1 year, 2 semesters in MBA, Masters of Business Administration. And finally, I settled for computer applications. So I did my master's in computer science, worked as a software engineer for 16 years. And then 2001 happened. Because of terrorist attacks, our towers came down, the software industry, the electronics industry, the airlines industry went out the door. The jobs started leaving the country. And I am originally from India. I didn't want to leave the country. I was a citizen over here. So I stayed back and I looked at myself and asked myself, what should I do? What do I do? What should I do? What do I do? And I didn't know what to do. So I went to the mountaintop. I literally went to the mountaintop, Himalayas in India, and I meditated at a temple. It is the tallest, it is a Shiva temple, which is at the highest peak in India. It's called Tunganath. It is at 18,000 feet from sea level. And then I realized I was asking the wrong question, what to do, what to do. Instead of that, I asked myself, what are you good at? And I said to myself, I'm good at being happy. I'm good at being healthy. I'm good at loving and being loved. I'm good at feeling safe. I don't have any fears. So I said, okay, this is what I'll help people with, being happy, healthy, safe, and loved. And I came down the mountaintop, but I didn't know how. And then I found an advertisement that said you can be a hypnotist for free. So I called up that number and asked, what do you mean free? It's America, nothing is free. And they said, no, you can be, we have a 1-year program. And so I went ahead and I studied to be a hypnotherapist. And I realized that hypnosis is only the gateway. You just get into the door, but there's so much more beyond that. Like once you help someone access their subconscious mind, the world is in your palm. You have access to higher consciousness, which Carl Jung called as the collective unconscious. And I was a meditator. So it took me from there and I have never stopped. So every year I learn something new and I add that to my portfolio so I can help my clients be happy, healthy, feel safe, and loved. That's my career.
Hey, that's a blessing because, you know, life speaks to me through people and words. And so you can start H and H, you know, happy and healthy, you know. It's not like some people say I need some TLC or they need some R&R, but really they need some H and H. Give me a bag of that H and H, that happiness and that healthiness. You know, I think that's important. Thank you. The L is for language. How can you open up the language of our minds? You like you know, 'cause I know you do the linguistics and just speak to us about like a little bit about the language, you know, get to that next level. I like that.
Mm-hmm. So language, like when people come to me, the first thing they say is, I want this. And the first question I ask them in exchange, in response is, what is the purpose of this? And that's where they are like stunned back. Says, what do you mean, what's the purpose of it? Like if someone says, I want money, what is the purpose of money to you? Or I want to be skinny. What's the purpose of being skinny? I want to be rich. You know, why? What is the purpose of that? You know, you have to know the purpose of it. And usually people have not thought about it. And
Right.
here's a disclaimer. I'm often like 99.99%, I'm the last person people come to because people go and do everything else and finally they come to me. So when they have come to me, they have been to many coaches and healers and therapists and whatever, and they come to me. So this is the first thing I tell them is your inner conscious, your inner conversations, the monologues you have with yourself is creating your reality. Once you change those words, you will change your reality. And in hypnosis, we call it your script, your knowns. Okay, this is what you know. This is what you're comfortable with. This is what you're familiar with. And when you change that script of pleasure and pain, like always trying to avoid pain and running towards pleasure, when you can change that script, you change your reality. So language is so important. Like yesterday, I was talking to a client of mine and he said, oh, I love my kids to bits. And I'm like, please don't do that. Don't love them to bits. Don't love them to pieces. Don't love them to death. Just love them. Because
Right.
think about it, the language. I love it. If I told you, Derrick, I love you to death, you'll be like, oh my God, I'm scared. Keya loves me to death. I don't know. I don't want to die. I don't want it to love me.
Right. It's like they say, break a leg. You know.
Yeah, things like that, you know. So we have to be mindful of the words we use. Like when I ask someone, like, what is the purpose of money? Like, why do you want money? Tell me, what is it you want? And they can give you a long list of what they don't want. I want money so I'm not broke. I want money so I'm not poor. I want money so I can pay off my debts. So they make money, they pay off their debts. They make money and they still feel poor. They make money and they still feel broke because they were focusing on what they don't want instead of what they want. So that is the key. You have to move towards something than trying to run away from something else. And in very simplistic terms, if you think about it, life is like a wet noodle, you know. So if you take a wet noodle that has been boiled in water and it's sticky and you put it on a wooden table, what is easy, to push it or to pull it? Pull, because you're trying to push it. It's stuck to the table. It's not moving too far.
Right.
So if you want to come to me, I will tell you how to come to me instead of giving you 10 million ways of how not to come to me.
Right.
Yeah. So language is very important. Focus on what you want and what you don't want. Because two negatives in mathematics will make a positive, but two negatives in life is two negatives.
Yeah, I like that because people have goals, but they don't know why they had the goals. And
the purpose.
And yeah, and you said, and what you said, what I got from was CYW, right? CYW, right? This is what I got from CYW equals CYW. I know it's not physics, but CYW equals CYW. You know what that is?
No, tell me.
Change your words equals change your work.
Change your words, yeah.
So you gave that term.
Yeah, and it starts with TWA. I'll just talk about, because it's your thoughts that lead to your words that affect your actions. So TWA,
Yes. And the A is for access. And you mentioned it a little bit. How can hypnotherapy help us access more?
I have to tell you a story. Are you ready for a story?
I'm ready, coach.
Okay. So have you seen the movie Titanic, or have you heard of Titanic?
Yeah, I've seen it. I seen it years ago, but I'm familiar with the story.
Yeah. So what is the story? What is Titanic?
Talking about the love story.
Oh, no, not the movie story, the real story. Tell me about Titanic.
They hit the iceberg.
Yeah. It was a ship that hit the iceberg, and that is why it sank. Now, there are two reasons why it sank. I have been to the place where Titanic was built in Belfast, and there were 3 ships, and Titanic was the smallest ship. Okay. The other 2 sister ships were larger, and they went across the ocean quite a few times, but Titanic, on its maiden voyage, sank. So there were 2 reasons. One is the spiritual reason, because man had made an unsinkable boat. And when man said, I made this unsinkable boat, someone up there was saying, okay, we'll see how unsinkable that is. Man's ego, okay, brought it down. But we have this ego, but in our reality, in this mundane world, we have something else, our physical reality. So in the physical reality, we needed an instrument, and that was the iceberg. So if you think of the iceberg, which part of the iceberg brought the ship down? Was it what was floating above or what was below?
What was below?
What was below?
What you did.
Yeah, so this is a fact. An iceberg above the water is the tip of the iceberg. It is only 10 to 12% in mass and volume. What's below the water, below the surface of the water, is 88 to 90% of the mass and volume of the iceberg. Right. So what makes the iceberg move? Is it the winds on top, or is it the currents below?
The currents below.
The currents below. And what struck the ship? The chunk of the iceberg that was below. So it is our subconscious mind. Your subconscious is 88 to 90% of who you are. Your conscious mind has logic, it has reasoning, it has decision-making abilities, your analytical faculties, and your willpower, which you don't seem to find when you need it the most.
Right.
But your subconscious is 88% of who you are. This is where you have memories. This is where you have emotions attached to every memory. This is where you have your belief system. This is what runs your life. So through hypnosis, through meditation, through trance, you can access your subconscious and change the script. And when you change the script, when you access it, you change your reality. And all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I cannot hypnotize you unless you give me permission to. Like, I cannot hurt you unless you give me permission to. I cannot love you unless you give me permission to.
Right.
So hypnosis is just like that. You have to learn how to talk to yourself in a way that the child within you who's younger than 8 can hear you and understand you and believe you and trust you and change their belief system.
Okay, I like that. I like that. The R is for religion. You know, now doing my homework on you, you talked about different types of religion where you learn from, you know what I mean, you learn from different facets. What all religions have you studied and how do they help you and how do they help others?
Oh my God, I don't want people to hang me now.
No, I get it because I get it because you know I go to a Baptist church. One of my best friends is Muslim. You know, I just got to think about my life one time. Like in the same week, went to a Baptist church. One of my great friends is Muslim. We played basketball at the Mormon church. So I got to thinking, man, you know, we're learning from everybody. And so that's why I like, you know, when I read it about you.
Okay, so in 2004, when I went to the mountaintop and I came down, I didn't come back straight away to America. I didn't come home. I went and I lived with my teacher for 3 months, 90 days exactly. And he had a program which was called the Brahmachari training. And in that training, he taught us, I mean, like he brought in books from 11 religions, and a lot of them are Indian, like Buddhism, Jainism. You know, Buddhism is a world religion now, but still it comes from India. Sikhism, Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism. And he literally took us through all the books and taught us, like, what do the books say? Now, there's 2 ways people take in information. One is literally and one is inferentially. So when it is said in the Bible that, you know, the snake came and gave the apple to Eve, you know, I mean, was it literal or was it a metaphor? So things like that, you know, so you go into it. And when I went to school, right from like kindergarten, and I went to Montessori school, like, you know, before my first grade. But after that, I went to Catholic school till my 8th grade. And then after that, I went to an Orthodox Christian school, like Indian Orthodox. They're called the Syrian Christians. So when the apostles went in all directions, 2 of them went to India and they went to Kerala. And so the Christians over there are called the Syrian Christians because the apostles came from Syria. So I went to a Catholic school. In my neighborhood, there's a temple, the Buddhist temple. And I go there and I have studied meditation, both the Vedantic way, Kriya, and Buddhist, you know, where we have insight meditation, and so many other things. So, and then I've also worked with indigenous people from Hawaii, from Machu Picchu. So in the end, everybody has only one message, and that message is love. Love. It's a message of love. It's a message of light. It's a message that you and your creator are one, just like Jesus said, my Father and I are one. So you are your creator. You create your reality. Okay. I like that. The eyes for India. What are some differences between India and America? What are some differences? I would say there are. If something shows up as a difference, it's only on the surface, because there is no difference. People are one. They have the same needs. They have the same emotions. You know, people want to be happy. They want to be healthy. People want to find hope. People want a little bit of money for comfort, for charity. So literally, is no difference. Even we have racism in India, we have racism in America, we have anger, sorrow, fear, guilt, hurt, shame, pain, doubts. In India, we have it in America, we have it all over the world. So And, the currency is different. We have US dollar over here. We have Indian rupees over there. But otherwise,
which currency? Hey, which currency is worth more money?
Dollar.
The US dollar or the dollar in India?
No, the US dollar. In India, we don't have dollar. In India, it's called rupee.
Rupee, is that with an R?
RUPEE. R as in river, U as in Utah, P as in Paul, E as in Edward, E as in Edward.
So if I took a dollar to India, how much is that worth?
It's like 70 rupees or maybe more.
Like 70?
70. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 70?
Uh-huh.
So if you took a good amount of money to India, you could do good. You could do pretty good.
You couldn't do good. And I'll tell you why. Because the moment you show up over there and they know that you are not from here, they are going to charge you the American price. They don't charge you the Indian price anymore.
Okay, I got you. But hey, I understand. But hey, it's worth a try. So
it's worth a try, and it did work. 30 years ago it worked, but it doesn't work anymore. Now, if you go, you have to pay the American price.
I did a virtual event. The reason why I asked about India because I did a virtual event this summer, and the event was called the Job Expo 2020. And I was speaking. I did a webinar speaking to. It was virtually, but I was speaking. My audience was people in India, and so It was a fantastic experience. So I just wanted to thank those people because it was a blessing. The T is for training.
Mm-hmm.
How do you break down what you do when you train? You train it. I read that you like to heal. You have a healing aspect to your business.
Mm-hmm. Again, yeah. So a person, there's the conscious mind, which we have the thinking mind, the ego mind, and then we have the feeling mind, right? Our subconscious, the child who's younger than 8. It's our inner child. And then in between, we have the critic. And beyond this, when you can access the subconscious and go deeper, you access your higher consciousness. And that's what we are. So when we hurt at the physical plane, whether it is in our finances, in our relationships, in our career, work, or in our health, it's because of an emotional blockage, okay? Unresolved emotions. And unresolved comes from, tangled up thoughts, thoughts spinning in circle, don't know how to come out. They give rise to an emotion and there is no resolution. It shows up in your body, whether it is, like any one of these 4 areas. So when I work with someone, when someone comes to me and says, I want to learn to be a coach, I want to learn how to be a healer, I want to help people get better, I take them through this process where they learn to align their thoughts with their feelings. And when you align your thoughts with your feelings, you get into your know zone. This is what you already knew. Because the disparity of human existence is because thoughts are not aligned with feelings, feelings are not aligned with thoughts. And when you get them in sync with each other, you drop into your know zone and you can flow in your life. So that is what I teach my students to achieve in their life so they can help others have that.
Okay, yeah. And the last letter in clarity is you. If you had to look in the mirror and speak to the younger version of yourself, knowing what you know now, what would you say to encourage them?
Don't change anything. You can't get to point B without, taking the road from point A, and there are no shortcuts in life. You got to pay the price and you will get the prize. Life is a gym. Life is a spiritual gym. This world is a spiritual gym. Your life, everything that you go through, if it did not kill you, will make you stronger. And I am coming here from the future. I didn't die. I just grew stronger. So go, keep doing it. Don't change anything.
All right. I appreciate that. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to add or like to share?
No, I feel complete. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Keya, spiritual life coach from Ventura, California. Check our website out at coachkeya.com and check out on social media at Coach Keya. And see, I like your name because you got key in there, and then you had A, like to slide the A to the side. So I say you're a key asset, you're a key achiever. You know, yeah. Hey, you keep making it happen, and I just want to say thank you,
Thank you
ladies
so
and
much.
gentlemen. Another great episode of Prime Tie. See, the M is small and the M is silent because in life, sometimes the small things will quietly lead you to the bigger opportunity. Follow me on all social media platforms at Entertainer and even on Cash App. And always remember that the things you say and the things you do may be the only school that others ever see. And until next time, I thank you for your time. And Zay Sanford at Zay Sanford Music. He brought us in and he's going to take us out.